good, YouTube? Masex back with another video, and today we're going to be getting back to my man, Mel Kiper Jr. He recently released his updated top 10 QBs. We all love the quarterbacks, let's be honest. It's one of the more intriguing positions in all of football because, of course, you're only going to go as far as your quarterback. And it's always a good look to see who's going to be that next franchise QB or QBs. Now, before we get into that, like I always say, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Odds are you clicked on this video because you're a football fan. Not only does it help the channel grow, but I deeply appreciate it. But anyways, enough with all that. Back to the video. We're going to be looking at the top 10 QBs. Without further ado, let's get to it. All right, let's get things kicked off with the #1 ranked quarterback, according to Mel Kiper, which is no surprise, especially if you remotely followed college football or the NFL draft process. That's Caleb Williams out of USC, listed at 6 foot, 6'1", 215, 220 pounds, depending on whatever site that you look at. I think he's closer to 6 foot even than he is 6'1". But last year, 30 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions, QBR of 82.4. Pro Football Focus gave him an excellent score of 90.3. And if you looked at the media, you would have thought that Caleb Williams just totally tanked in his true junior year. You look at his career stats, damn near actually improved every single year. The main difference was passing touchdowns and overall team success, but he was still elite. I'm not going to overreact, nor did I overreact during the season. I knew if you actually watch the games and not just listen to random YouTubers that think they know what they're talking about, or guys on TV that really think that they know what they're talking about, you would have thought that he fell off a cliff. Caleb Williams is elite. To me, he is one of those future franchise quarterbacks and can make every throw. He goes off script. He can play within an offense. He had to play hero ball when he had a USC defense like he did. I'm not worried about Caleb Williams, and I fully expect him to be the first overall pick. The #2 quarterback, according to Mel Kiper Jr., is Jaden Daniels out of LSU, listed at 6'3", 210 pounds, listed at 210 pounds. I don't buy it. Jaden Daniels, elite. A 5-year guy on the older side, but you can't ignore what he did in 2023. 40 touchdown passes to only 4 interceptions. QBR of 95.6, which was first in the nation. Pro Football Focus gave him a 94.7, which was #1 for all quarterbacks. Also added over 1,100 yards on the ground, another 10 rushing touchdowns. He was a human highlight reel. In many games for LSU, he dang near single-handedly put them on his back. Now, having Jaden Daniels at #2 is new. The consensus #2 up to this point, dating back to the preseason, was actually who we'll be getting into next. Not as high on Jaden Daniels personally as maybe most people are becoming. You're seeing more and more where people are having Jaden Daniels as the #2 quarterback. I'm personally not there yet, but I definitely no doubt think that he's a baller, and he has obvious potential and ceiling to be very good at the NFL level. At #3, we have Drake May out of UNC, 6'4", 230 pounds. Last year, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, had a QBR of 79.3. Pro Football Focus still gave him an elite score of 90.6, so that's an excellent grade. With his size, is a threat on the ground, almost 450 rushing yards, another 9 rushing touchdowns. The big comparison you're going to get with Drake May is Justin Herbert. He fits that profile. He can make all 3 level throws, short, intermediate, and deep balls. Struggles sometimes processing against pressure and whatnot. I think that he's elite. He's my #2 guy. Mel Kiper has him at #3. In most mocks, you're going to see him as the 2nd or 3rd pick between him and Jaden Daniels. That's going to be the part that's really fun for me. Who's going to be that #2 quarterback? All right, at #4, we have McCarthy out of Michigan, listed at 6'3", 202 pounds. Last year, a very solid 22 passing touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. PFF gave him a grade of 90.8. QBR was 88.2. He's the smooth operator. He's very efficient. He played within the confines of the offense. Didn't do too much, but didn't do too little as well. The common nickname you're going to get for him would be game manager. Wasn't asked to throw a lot, honestly, in his Michigan career. In the national championship game, I believe he threw less than 20 times. Play your part, stay in your lane, and do what you do. Pro Football Focus still gave him an excellent grade overall. I would have preferred him to come back for his true senior year, but given the circumstances and Harbaugh leaving, I completely understand. He's young, one of the younger QB prospects in this class, so you love the upside that he may provide. He's been mocked even as high as the mid-first round at this point now, so he's one of those guys I'm still skeptical about, but I am intrigued to see how he develops in his NFL career. Next up at number 5, we have Michael Penix Jr. out of Washington, listed at 6'3", 213 pounds. The guy has the smoothest left arm you're going to see. The QB gurus may not like his motion, but it comes off pretty to me. Throws an excellent deep ball. Last year, an elite 36 passing touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Threw the ball a ton. QBR 84.1, which is really good. Pro Football Focus gave him an elite grade of 91.9. Has one of the best deep balls in the class. He's very accurate throwing the ball greater than 20 yards down the field. An arsenal of weapons as well at Washington, so no doubt about that. But at the same time, he made those guys be better as well. I really like Michael Penix, admiring the transformation. I'm an IU guy, so I've watched him since his true freshman year way back in 2018. He was a dual threat guy for IU. He ran just as much as he threw. Coming to Washington, completely transformed his game, had a lot of injuries, a lot of medical concerns, may push him out of the first round, but from an arm talent perspective, he's up there as far as one of the top QBs. At number 6, we have the almighty Bo Nix out of Oregon, listed at 6'2", 217 pounds. Speaking of transformations, Bo Nix, one of those guys. I mean, coming out of Auburn with all that hype, he was trash. I'm not even going to hold you. He was trash. Thank God for COVID and the extra eligibility years that he was able to take advantage of as well, because he's going undrafted if it was the regular pre-2020 college eligibility. But he took advantage, went to Oregon, and became one of the most accurate, efficient quarterbacks in college football history. Pro Football Focus gave him a 93. Elite. QBR 91.2. He balled out. And yes, the offense at Oregon is pretty gimmicky. A lot of horizontal throws that aided the high completion percentage. But at the same time, he was still one of the most accurate, I believe top 3 in the nation in throws greater than 20 yards. So he can throw at all 3 levels. He has a really good arm, which I didn't know his deep ball was that good until I watched him this year. Can he run an NFL offense? Questions about that. Bo Nix, I've seen him mocked as high as number 12 to the Broncos, I believe. If he gets that opportunity, I mean, I'm not doubting that he wouldn't be good. I do question his ceiling, but Bo Nix, number 6, that's about where I have him. All right, number 7, Mel Kiper has Spencer Rattler as the number 7 ranked quarterback in this class out of South Carolina, 6'1", 217. Spencer Rattler, I've been a big fan of coming out of Pinnacle, the number 1 quarterback out of the 2019 class. Fell in love with his arm. As far as arm talent goes, he is one of the best in this class, and that statement may actually surprise some people. I mean, he was the number 1 5-star quarterback a few years back for a reason. He can definitely throw. Now, there's other things that have definitely caused him a lot of trouble and has caused him to be a 5-year guy. Just a couple years ago, he was projected as the number 1 or number 2, depending on the mocks, in the NFL draft, and now he's a 5-year guy. Since losing his spot to Caleb Williams at Oklahoma, went to South Carolina and had 2 decent years being in the SEC. Senior Bowl MVP, flashed a lot of potential, and I think the scouts are going to like that. And he's really been one of the highest risers in the 24 draft class. Moving on to number 8, we have Michael Pratt out of Tulane. Solid QB overall, 22 touchdowns, 5 interceptions last season. QBR 65.5. Pro Football Focus gave him a grade of 90.8. very safe with the ball. I see him more as a developmental, most likely will be an NFL backup that can fill in maybe a few games out of the season, but he does have the size, sturdy presence, solid velocity when the ball leaves his hand. I do see him struggling to push the ball. That's why his ceiling to me is a backup. Struggled at the Senior Bowl as well, but to his defense, most of the quarterbacks actually struggled at the Senior Bowl. Number 9, we have Joe Milton out of Tennessee, listed at 6'5", 235 pounds, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, QBR of 70.4. PFF gave him a grade of 77.6. Pretty solid. Feels like he's also been in college forever. From the 2018 class, started at Michigan, moved to Tennessee, which that was a really good offense for him in Tennessee. More that air raid, chuck the ball 40, 50 yards down the field. Has the best arm in the class. When it comes to throwing power, I guarantee you it's going to be a 98 or a 99 as a rookie. He's going to be the viral quarterback. He's going to stand on his knees and throw the ball 60 yards. He's going to stand up, throw it 84, 85 yards. He does struggle a lot processing the defense. He does struggle with touch. Looks like he's aiming the ball rather than just letting it rip. It's like, I'm not a QB coach at all, but sometimes when I watch him, it's like, man, you got the arm talent, just let it rip. But he's that Instagram short guy that's going to get a lot of views just from all the crazy things that he can do with the ball in his hands. Definitely developmental. All right, and rounding off the top 10 is Jordan Travis out of Florida State, listed at 6 foot, 210 pounds. Very efficient, 20 touchdown passes to only 2 interceptions. QBR 80.1. Pro Football Focus gave him a score grade of 87.8. Was very elite and efficient last year. Florida State was very dominant before he went down with the knee injury right before the ACC game. Cost him his season, and honestly, it cost Florida State their season because the voters did not want them in the college football playoffs, regardless of them being undefeated Power 5 ACC champions. I see him more as a journeyman at best. He's the example of somebody that's worked his way from the bottom to the top, been in college football for a very long time. And Florida State, to his credit, has been very dominant the last 2 years once he fully got the keys to the offense. And there you have it. These are Mel Kiper's top 10 QB prospects for the 2024 draft class. If you made it this far into the video, I deeply appreciate that. If you haven't already at this point, go ahead and like and subscribe to the video. We're on the road to 1K. It definitely helps this channel grow as we're getting closer and closer to that first milestone. So I can't do this without you guys, and I deeply appreciate it. As we know, this is the season for mock drafts, big boards, positional rankings. So we got a lot of stuff in store for you. I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys go, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Cheat!